In its heyday, the Comstock Lode saw some of the greatest technological advancements. In this video, I will try to cover some of them and some other interesting tidbits. One great need for the mines and the people who lived at Virginia City was water. The area is relatively dry. The Carson River is nearby, but it is much lower in elevation and would require enormous resources to pump the water uphill. They tried making dams and tapping the aquifers in the area, but those proved to not have enough water. An idea came about to bring water from across the Washoe Valley. This is a siphon in Oregon. The plan was to use an inverted siphon. The idea is that if you can create a vacuum in a pipe, water will flow from the higher elevation to the lower. The problem is that the elevation difference and distance for this project required a pressure of 1,720 feet or 800 psi, a record at that time. This is the rough outline of the modern-day pipeline that supplies Virginia City. The original was fed from Hobart Creek. The pieces of the pipe were custom-made to fit the profile of the area they were laid. I'm not certain, but I think some were buried and some were laid directly on the ground. Upon the initial testing, smoke signals were used to relay that a leak had sprung. Iron was put over the joint and molten lead was poured in to seal them. Eventually, water ran and supplied the happy inhabitants of Virginia City. Another technological advance was the use of a safety cage. At the top of the cage, there are a couple of metal pieces. If the cable hoisting the cage broke, a mechanism would throw the metal pieces into the tunnel. They would grip the wood or rock and hold the cage in place until help could come. If you want to see something close to this diagram, there are a couple of options. The Ponderosa Underground Cave Tour has something like this as a ticket booth. Here are the Best and Belcher mines, which are the mines they found and provide tours of. The Nevada State Museum in Carson City has a mining exhibit and a movie about the mines. I found something like the safety cage there too. They also have a lot of other really interesting information about mining in Nevada, and of course they have the historic mint. One such piece of information is the square sets invented by Mr. Philip Diedesheimer. Some of the mines went thousands of feet into the ground. In addition, the veins were quite wide. The deeper the mines went, the more difficult it became to keep the weight above from collapsing the shafts. A German engineer thought of an ingenious solution using block sets. I'm not sure why it is so ingenious, but it helped to save many lives. They are still used to this day. While not necessarily a tech innovation, the VNT Railroad was quite the railroad. At some point during its descent, the trains would look like they would make a complete circle until it made another abrupt turn. Many of the railroad operators from back east who were used to operating on flat, straight lines were scared at first on this line. But after a while, they began to like the challenge. While the railroad is not exactly the same today as it was back in the day, it has not changed too much. This is a very rough outline I made by tracing satellite imagery. It's still supposed to be a fun way to get from Carson City to Virginia City and attracts many people today.